Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It's August 15th, 2018. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing this morning? Hope you're well. I'm here at shtfplan.com. Analysts mourn we're running out of resources needed to sustain life on our planet. This comes from Daisy Luther of The Organic Prepper. Have you ever heard of Earth Overshoot Day? No. Neither had I. It's the day each year that we use up the resources that can be renewed within that length of time. This year, it was on August 1st, so for the rest of the year, we're living on borrowed resources. It reminds me of the economy and quantitative easing. There's only so far we can push it until there's nothing left from which to borrow. While the analysts say this is all related to climate change, a theory that many find dubious, one thing is absolutely certain. They're right about the looming shortage of resources, and a lot of it is because Westerners are so incredibly wasteful as a society. And, of course, you've heard me talk about when I worked at the country club, these people, they would order big plates of food, and they would come back full to the kitchen. They'd come back full, a lot of them. And, you know, I can't help but think that that meal could have helped somebody out that actually needed it. Water. Look at water, for example. Droughts have stricken us here in parts of the United States for years. The blogger Michael Snyder has suggested it could quickly lead to a return to Dust Bowl conditions similar to those of the 1930s. South Africa has barely managed to push back day zero, the day in which Cape Town runs completely out of water using stringent rationing methods. Even parts of the U.S. that aren't in drought conditions are seeing frequent water crises with algae blooms, toxic runoff, chemical spills, and tainted municipal water. Doesn't it seem to you that these things are happening a lot more often? The global water shortage is coming fast. At this point, approximately 40% of the entire population of the planet has little or no access to clean water, and it is being projected that by 2025, 2/3 of humanity will live in water-stressed areas. But most Americans are not too concerned about all of this because they assume that North America has more fresh water than anywhere else. And actually, they would be right about that, but the truth is that even North America is rapidly running out of water, and it's going to change all of our lives. And of course, giving Nestle the go-ahead to go ahead and drain lakes and whatnot so they can sell bottled water isn't helping that much. Today, the most important underground water source in America, the Ogallala Aquifer, is rapidly running dry. The most important lake in the western United States, Lake Mead, is rapidly running dry. The most important river in the western United States, the Colorado River, is rapidly running dry. By 2030, the UN predicts that 24 million to 700 million people will be displaced because of water shortages. This means that in those areas that do have water, the resources will be spread thin, and suddenly they'll have shortages too. Let's face it, if we run out of water, people start dying, and quickly. There will be famine because crops won't be able to grow. People will drink questionable water because they're dying of thirst, and then they'll die of a waterborne illness instead. But water isn't the only thing we're using faster than we can replenish. Food. A huge part of the issue with looming food shortages is the shocking amount of waste. 33% of food produced worldwide is wasted, and a whopping 50% of the food in the U.S. is lost. Shockingly, a great deal of it is simply thrown away because it's ugly. In North America and Europe, it boils down to more than 250 pounds of food wasted by every man, woman, and child each year. Rich countries like the U.S. literally throw away more food annually than is produced in poor parts of the world, like the entire sub-Saharan area of Africa. In developing countries, 40% of the waste occurs at harvest and in processing plants, while in countries that are industrialized, like the use more than, I think they meant like the U.S., more than 40% of the waste occurs at retail stores and once consumers bring the food home. Oil. There's a lot of argument concerning how much oil is out there. Some say that there's so much oil that we'll never run out. Others say that we are going to run out. So we are draining resources so quickly that the BP website warns that we can get only 50 more years out of our current rate of oil production. And of course they could be saying this to create the idea of scarcity so that they can price gouge some more. Oil reserves include fields, condensate, and natural gas liquids, as well as crude oil. This inclusive approach helps to develop consistency with the oil production numbers published in the review, which also include these categories of oil: liquid hydrocarbon fuels from non-hydrocarbon sources such as ethanol from corn or sugar, or synthetic oil derived from natural gas, are not included in either the reserve or production series. We are dependent on gasoline for just about everything, from producing food to transporting goods to getting to work and bringing it all home. Not only that, but oil is also essential for energy. No, our electrical plants aren't fueled by oil. Coal and natural gas are responsible for 1/3 each of the power used by the United States, while nuclear and hydropower make up the rest. But coal and gas rely on transportation, and in a world without a steady supply of oil, things could get ugly all around. Now everyone is blaming climate change. We have YouTube channels out there dedicated to the idea of a solar minimum, or should I say a grand solar minimum, that's going to cause a significant cool down and other problems with our weather. So, and then others think it's like, what's that guy's name? Oh, man, his name is right at the tip of my tongue, too. Guy McPherson. He thinks that sometime this month apparently, or in September, humanity is gonna collapse into chaos, but I don't think so. He says that human beings are running out of habitat, or our habitat is beginning to be destroyed, I should say. And once our habitat is destroyed, we are. Of course, in the mainstream, everyone is blaming climate change for all these potential shortages. This article is not a debate about whether or not human-caused climate change exists. It is about the consequences of the human actions of a consumeristic society. With an ever-growing population and a culture of wastefulness, there's only so long that the planet can support life in its current manner. One of the largest banks, HSBC, warns that we are truly not prepared for what is to come. In our opinion, these findings and events show that many businesses and governments are not adequately prepared for climate impacts, nor are they using natural resources efficiently, the HSBC analyst said in the note. According to HSBC, extreme events have severe economic and social costs. In our view, adaptation will move further up the agenda with a growing focus on the social consequences. So, I would like to point out that we have lost huge parts of our crop production this year. Canada, France. So, next year, when we start harvesting this and start using it, we're going to start falling short of the amount of food that is needed. Of course, if we were smart, we'd buy up a bunch of food right now. That way we wouldn't have to deal with the high-ass prices later on. And that's what really prepping is about. Hope everyone has a great day. Thought I would share this with you. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.